Hey guys, EST here, and I love my gadgets and electronics, and apparently so do you guys based on the view counts, but there is something really simplistic about a glow stick. As we found out in a recent video, these things can be stored in terrible conditions for years and they'll still work. Spoiler alert. But I said in passing in a video a long time ago that you want blue because it's the closest to white, it's the highest energy output, but then I got to thinking, well, wouldn't you want red because it takes the least amount of energy to make? But then humans are bad at seeing red, so I thought, well, green is what the human eye is the best at seeing. And I thought, I have no idea what chemicals are in these. So why don't we just test it? Why don't we just do a luminosity test? So I got four identical ones, and I'm about to kill the lights and find out, and then we're going to stack it up against some other emergency lighting devices. So let's do it. Now, I don't have the ability to set this camera to a static ISO or whatever you call it, or iris level. It's going to sit there and automatically adjust, unfortunately. So you might just have to take my word for it, but this is pretty bright. I can pretty much see what's going on around me. This is actually already beating the one that was stored in my car. So I'm starting to think that one was diminished a bit, but it was in there for like 7 years in terrible heat and cold and all that. But boy, for like under 50 cents, this is pretty bright. I mean, just look at that. Like that's pretty nutty. But I guess just for a baseline, and keep in mind, like I said, the camera's gonna adjust a bit, so who knows? Let's light a candle. Okay, so that's a candle. I would say, oh boy, hard to say, but believe it or not, about equal. I mean, one's blue and one's orange, but it's around the same visibility. I think maybe the candle has it just a little bit, but the color blue is just easier, at least for me to see. So they're roughly equivalent. That's actually pretty impressive. So I would expect this to burn for 10 hours at least, and this will have a pretty good light output for about the same. That is a fire hazard, and this isn't, and this is windproof and waterproof, though. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I don't really like candles. They're just not very generally useful. Now this right here is a battery bank. It's got, I don't know, 7 or 8 18650 batteries in it, custom built. I've got a couple videos showing these off. They're pretty cool. 22,000 milliamp hours, give or take. But the cool part is it has some LEDs on the front. Look at that. So that's going to look pretty bright in the camera, but honestly, it's really pinpoint. There's almost no splash. If I were to just kind of splash it off the wall, wow, you're getting none of that. It's just using this as a flashlight in the pitch black, even after your eyes have adjusted, is pretty bad. I mean, let me back up a bit. Oh, that looks so much brighter than it actually is. Yeah, the camera's not really picking that up, but it's so pinpoint, but it's not even a good beam. Let me actually compare this to like an actual good flashlight. Okay, here's one of my telescoping ones. This thing is insane. Yeah, it may not show on camera, but this is crazy bright. I mean, just insane. And then you could like pinpoint it, and it's like, I mean, look at that. It looks like it's on fire for good reason because the light output on this is insane. It's so much brighter, but this is one 18650 with more light, and this is like 7 or 8 18650s. I think there's 8 in here. So this would probably run for like 40, 50, 60 hours, and you can recharge it on solar. That's kind of cool. I think this is kind of the ultimate light source, but it's just not very bright, but it's right up there with a glow stick, but only in an angle. So it's all kind of a toss-up. I mean, these don't recharge on solar, just saying. But I wouldn't exactly drop the battery bank at a lake. This one, yeah, okay. So now that we got the competition out of the way, where they're all pretty close but have their own strengths and weaknesses, let's crack the other colors. Oh my gosh, wow, that is bright. If that looks bright in the camera, yeah, that's because it is bright in reality. I'm sure it's pretty close, and actually after you shake it up and it stops going nuts, it kind of levels off a little bit. But yeah, the green light and the human eye and being able to distinguish shades of green, yeah, even, oh wow. I mean, you don't get much. I mean, I'm about 2 feet from the backdrop and it kind of drops off, but you can at least kind of see a little bit. I mean, maybe if you had like 4 of these, you could light up a room. I don't know. This is just insufficient as a light source. You're pretty much just showing people in the dark where you are. But if you had this in a forest, I don't think you're getting out. You got a better chance of seeing moonlight, and that's the problem. Now you got either one of those flashlights, preferably the brighter one. Now you've got something. So these are interesting if you're gonna stumble over something in a room, I guess. I don't know. Other than that, they're just not bright enough to do anything. And they shine outward, but then also back into your face. So green, not bad, but to me, see if I can even do a comparison. Oh, it's too hard to see. I don't know. Yeah, I think that is brighter, but these are it's kind of fallen off already though. They like I said, once you crack them, they kind of calm down. If I put them next to each other, you can see which one's brighter. So let's go to the other colors. All right, we've got yellow, and this is absolutely pathetic. I can't see much. It's kind of like a dark yellow. It's like almost orange yellow, like a dim sunlight yellow. Oh wow, that is just absolutely awful. There's just nothing there. Oh wow, I maybe can see the walls a little better. It's kind of off camera, but that's pretty weak. And strangely enough, we've got pink. And yeah, it's got some pretty good splash. Looks a heck of a lot better on the camera screen. I can't make out anything. Even off the walls, I'm just not getting very much. I don't know. This is not that impressive. And that's right after I cracked it. I mean, this blue one, I'm still kind of siding with blue. I think I was right here. Second guessing it and listened to a couple comments where people said, no, definitely not blue. Oh, I don't know. They're all just so dim. This is already really falling off. You can probably see. Oh boy. Well, let's just see what all four do. Oh, that's not bad. Let me just shield my eyes. Okay. I mean, look at that. Like, that's not terrible. Well, I think I'm gonna win the award for the worst camera work in a video here, but this isn't too bad. Getting four of them there. If I had to choose four blue ones, that'd be nice. But I will say this kind of combines to bounce off of everything. I'm seeing grays. I'm seeing, whites. I'm seeing myself bonk the camera stand. Everything. So that's interesting. I guess the closest you can get to white light, the best. Oh boy, all of them combined is pretty cool. But let's compare this to the battery bank. Yeah, and that's my dullest flashlight. I think these maybe beat the candle, but just because the candle is so like reddish orange. So I did a pack of four of them. Why not? If you can get the multicolor, you can get these at most dollar stores. Oh wow, jeez, that is kind of bright. But here, you want to see something cool? All right, this is my insane flashlight on medium beam, going through my hand. Yeah, it's a little brighter. Oh my gosh, you should give yourself an X-ray with that. But yeah, I'd stick with this and just have a backpack full of 18650s. But if it got wet, if it's raining, if this failed, I don't know, EMP, I doubt it would take out something this, simplistic. But I've got a couple packs of these. I would maybe get $5 or $10 worth. I think they're definitely worth it. I would not say, oh, let's buy a 144 pack of them or something. Let's get 1,000 because they're so cheap. No, I don't think so. So just adding a conclusion in editing here. Green was the clear winner if you're going to get some, get green. These were very low quality, very cheap, and I've seen much brighter ones that are like allegedly military grade for quite a bit more money. And they store pretty well. I mean, it was a kind of poor light output from the one that had been stored in my car for like 7 years, but it still worked. But as like a light source to just be like a lantern, first of all, like I said, it shines back directly in your eyes, so you got to constantly block it with your hand, but okay. But for, finding your way around in a dark building or a dark forest or something, these just don't do it. Even the absolute brightest ones I've ever seen that burn out in like 2 to 4 hours, they tend to just not quite do it. It's better than pitch black, but not by much. Now, if your car breaks down and you want to find it later, so you crack one of these and just leave it in the seat so it glows, an unusual color that you can spot from a far distance, okay. It's not all about emergency lighting as in I need to see. I mean, for that, even if your cell phone's at 50%, you could probably turn on the flashlight and kill the screen and run that for like 12 hours. But that battery bank I showed has 5 times the capacity and probably about 1/3 the light output as a cell phone. Yeah, you could probably legitimately run it for over 100 hours. My calculations say upwards of like a week without turning it off. But you constantly have to sweep because it's focused so narrow. So there's all these different factors. Duration, waterproof, toughness. Are you trying to have people see you? Are you trying to mark something? Are you trying to see in the dark? Are you trying to be found while you're lost in the woods? Think about all those things, but because of the various uses and the fact that, you could get 4 of them going for, what was it, $1.50 or something? Or buy some, better output, tougher, bigger ones that are just green and you can just crack 1, 2, or 3 of them and, like, probably kind of see what's going on in a very short radius. I would say, yeah, pick some of these up just because they're so cheap, they store well, and they do more than nothing. And they're kind of like a backup for your main sources of light. Oh, and the flashlight shown in this video is like $8 or $9 on eBay currently, or Amazon, or wherever. They're all over the place. I did a review on them in this channel if you want to check that out. They're pretty impressive, not sponsored, of course. And I've got other cool content about electronics and emergency power and solar and batteries and inverters, food packaging and safety, general security. I mean, we do it all on this channel. So subscribe if you're interested, and I'll see you guys next time.